Hey Prateek, thank you so much. Such a pleasure having you, my friend. And I could not wait to get back to you, listen to your story yet again, and bring you to the world because I think you are an inspiration. So thank you so much on our show called The Ex Monks Drive, where we bring to you world class stories and people who are doing something really meaningful. Something I personally call them the warrior monks of today's world. So let's get going. How are you doing today?
Hi, Gaurav. I'm doing great, and thank you for having me on this show. I'm really excited to be sharing my journey with ex monks, and hopefully, it'll help people out in their own journeys.
Oh, I can vouch for that. Every time when I've either read about you or I've heard your story directly from the horse's mouth, or I have seen your talks that you have delivered, whether it's TED Talk or the other talks that you have been on to, I think every time I've seen a streak of inspiration from every single word that you say. And also during all the interactions, I've seen you smiling, cracking jokes, dreaming, making an attempt to inspire the world, talking about the projects that you are handling with so much of excitement, so much of commitment, your love for travel, your love for food, and your love for dating. So, before we get on to all these discussions and all these conversations, let's go back in time. A memory from your childhood that brings a smile on your face today as well. So, let's begin from there.
A memory from my childhood that brings a smile on my face is me during 1 year in my school. I was awarded the best student of the year. I was the best sports person of the year. I was the head boy of the school, and I was the guy who had the most girls' attention. So that
Hmm.
that memory will always stay with me.
Very, very curious. Very rare. I get a guest on my show where we talk about girlfriends as well. So I'm really super excited because we cater to all kinds of people, people who are change makers, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are social entrepreneurs, the authors, the coaches, the leaders, investment bankers. And here I have somebody who's not only a change maker, who's not only an inspiration, but had the maximum attention from girls as well. So super excited. You know, the kind of life that you have led and today where you are, it's an inspiration. I'm sure something would have happened in your life that would have turned the trajectory of your life. What was that occasion? What was that chapter? What was that incident?
So till May 29th, the story goes back to 2014. Till May 29, 2014, I was a young entrepreneur doing professionally very well in his career. I had a lot of family support. I had good social presence, partying all over the town, earning good money, traveling all over the world, about to get married. And 24 hours later, on May 30th, 2014, a bad fall in an under construction building led me to the introduction of my new life,
Hmm,
the life after a spinal cord injury.
hmm,
It was a life which came with no motor movement or complete paralysis below the waist. And because the spinal cord injury has nervous system damage, so with the physical paralysis, there is the other systems that go wrong in your body, like you lose control over your bladder, you have digestion issues, you lose control over your bowels, you lose sensation, you lose you are sexually challenged, you get spasms, you get muscle atrophy, you get UTIs, you get bed sores, and you have absolutely no medical solution to any of it.
hmm.
So basically, it was a life where you are seen only as a patient. You become wheelchair dependent in a country which has serious physical accessibility issues. You only have pity and sympathy with you. You have no friends to speak to. And basically, you're living a life where a lot of people would rather choose death than going through any of this, because spinal cord injury is the beginning of the end. It is just the beginning of the end, because day by day, day by day, day by day, your health condition just goes down, and you don't know for how long will this continue, because there is no recovery. That was the changing point of my life.
Thank you for sharing. And I could experience when you said that that was the beginning of the end, I could really experience some kind of emotion within myself. And when you are using the word that was the beginning to an end, beginning of the end, what does that mean? Tell me more about that.
It means that because doctors give no hope regarding it, and there is nothing online, nothing around the world which gives hope against such an injury. And with you, so you're not dying, but you have all these conditions inside your body that you have to live with every day. And you don't know, because usually if you have a cancer, you have a tumor, you have any a fracture, you have uh, 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 replacement like a knee replacement, all after the procedure, a medical procedure, your health gets better. It's onwards and forwards from there. But with a spinal cord injury, your health only deteriorates from that point, because there is no medical solution. So every day you have to deal with so many things in your body that you cannot think of anybody else, you
Hmm.
can't think of anything else. And day by day it just goes down, it doesn't get better, and you don't know what to do. And that is why a lot of people who have spinal cord injuries go through suicidal tendencies, and they take their lives.
So you use the word where you had no friends, you are stuck on a wheelchair, you are disconnected from the world, from the society. I'm sure as an individual, you must be going through your inhibitions of with being on wheelchair, because on one hand, you are saying that you were a party boy, you would travel, your love for food, your love for dating, your love for work that you were involved in, and suddenly in just 24 hours, the world has come to a halt for you. How did you deal with those inhibitions? How did you deal with that disconnect from society? How did you deal with where you're not allowed or you are not able to go out with your friends?
So I think the biggest problem with such an injury is that the acceptability of it. You don't admit that what has happened, and I think it has a dual consequence. Number one is it can be bad to you, because now you're not able to recognize your wheelchair life. So that means you will not learn how to move around in a wheelchair, because you're not recognizing it only. But number two is, if you recognize it, you will probably learn more how to be independent on the wheelchair and how to go about living your daily life. But I think for the first year after my injury, what happened was I was in denial, and I'll be honest about it. Like most of us are, I was in denial. I thought by doing regular exercises, and I was involved in a rigorous exercise regime, I thought that I will be able to get over it and I don't have to lead this life. And whosoever I had lost in terms of socially, friends, family connections, I thought that once I get back on my feet, I will be able to get back there. But I think that was not to be, because after 1 year I realized that this process is going to take far longer, and I have to do really something to get back to society while recovering from this, and it does not have to be a secluded part of the community.
As I'm just listening to Pratik, let me just take a pause because what you spoke about is the physical injury, right? Where most of us would definitely be in a denial mode, would not be willing to accept and would be living in our own bubble that, by doing exercises, by doing this or that, by going to this puja or going to this mandir, I might get back to my
Yeah.
feet, right? And I'm sure here, let me just take a pause and reflect on that and create a space for our audience as well to reflect on their life. Which part of their life are they living from a space of denial? We are not willing to accept that a loss is a loss is a loss and it's done. And it could be a loss of, as you mentioned, a physical injury that is not repairable. It could be a loss of a family member. It could be a loss of a friendship. It could be a loss of a physical asset, some financial asset. So we all live in that denial, right? But I think something that you're talking about is that caught my attention is when you're speaking about disconnected with the society. So, what was the impact of that emotionally and psychologically on the Pratik that you've always known?
So, Gaji, I would like to answer your question in two parts. Number one is that living in denial, yes, so we should come to terms with the reality. But I think how it also helped me was during that first year, because I was so working hard on myself. Yes, after 1 year, I accepted that this is going to be a longer process. But I think the recovery I made and the little changes that I saw in my body, it kind of paved the way, the confidence for further recovery in my life, where I kind of understood that yes, it's going to be a long process, but at the same time, it is possible. It is possible if you continue working hard at it. So
Hmm.
recognize it, but then find out ways to continue moving forward.
Hmm.
At the same time, when it comes to community, getting back to community, yes, I was very social, and during my phases of this recovery, that still is a part of my life. When I was fighting, I thought social rehabilitation was as important, because we are humans and we are supposed to be in a part of the society. But there was nobody who was talking to me. All my friends had left, and all they had was sympathy. And तूने खाना खा लिया ना, तूने दवाई ले ली ना, तू बाहर कैसे तो नहीं जाएगा, टाइम पे सो जाना, चिंता मत करना, हिम्मत मत हारना, यू आर एन इंस्पिरेशन, यू आर अ रॉक स्टार। और ये सब जो हैं सारे क्लीशे डायलॉग यही आते थे। बट द गर्लफ्रेंड डिसाइड टू लीव, एंड सब एकदम से खो गया था, एंड पता नहीं था कैसे जाऊं। पर आई थिंक एक शाम में जब एक दोस्त से बहुत फोर्सफुली मिला, एंड मैं जब गया था 1.5 साल बाद बाहर मिलने, एंड व्हेन आई वाज माई सेल्फ, आई थिंक आई रियलाइज्ड how important it is to be a part of the community, where I am the same jovial Prateek with the spunk in him, with the fire in him, and it was very important to get back to the community. But how do I get back? So I think post that, every week I realized it was important. So every week I started calling my friends week after week, every week, that come, let's meet up, come, let's meet up. And
Hmm.
they were always scared in the beginning ki yaar tu kaise milega, but I said you just come and meet, tumhe problem nahi hogi. So we used to go out to meet, koi 5 star jate the, because accessibility nahi rehta tha kahin aur jagah pe. So we used to go to some 5 stars according to our budget, and wahan pe baith ke, and when they started spending more time with me, they realized that I am the same guy, I am the same friend Prateek, who's not governed by his injury, but his mind, soul, and spirit are absolutely free. And slowly, what happened was, over multiple meetings with these close set of friends, they started realizing कि यार हमारा वही यार है ये, and they started inviting me for birthday parties again. I started becoming parts of dinners again. There was a World Cup happening in 2016, where they especially kept a screening for me, where I can come and see the match. If birthday parties are happening outside, they will see an accessible restaurant. So all these efforts started happening from the friend side, and that was my step. 2016 was my first step towards getting back to the community, and it started from me, because meeting my friends made me happy. I was not on an ego trip, क्योंकि ego से मैं कहाँ जाता,
Hmm.
अपने साथ ही रह जाता। तो उनको मिलना मुझे पसंद था, तो मेरी तरफ से स्टेप आना है, तो मैं ही स्टेप लूंगा उसका, इसीलिए
Hmm.
मैंने स्टेप लिया और आज हम यहाँ हैं।
So beautiful, isn't it? So, what I'm listening is, Prateek, that once you were able to identify your need, rather than waiting for you to come and knock your door and take you out for party or meet you at your home or take you out for dinner, you took the initiative despite everything that you were going through. You took the initiative to address your need, talk to your friend rather than living in the space of denial or assumption that they don't take care of me and getting into your stories and getting back to the spiral down. Um, and that's what was one of the turning
Yeah.
phases of your life.
Yes.
Now, would love to hear from you. How did you come back on your feet, both metaphorically and literally? But before that, you spoke about your girlfriend as well, and you said that she left you.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. I mean, somehow this does not fit in here.
Because it doesn't fit in, because people have different definitions of love, but when it really comes to living a life with a person who on a wheelchair, people I think take a back seat. And that is what happened, that yes, I had the most glorious relationship with her till my accident happened, and it was the most
And
perfect one.
how many years relationship was that?
It was almost 6 years.
Really?
Yeah. So in the 5 years without the accident, 1 year with the accident. So after 1 year of seeing whatever challenges I was going through, I think she took her call, and she said that she does not see herself spending her life with somebody who's dependent and who's using a wheelchair. And she is not making an unfair call. It's a fair call, because anybody would make that call on me right now in this state.
Hmm.
So that is it. That was how it happened. And
Hmm.
I don't hold it against her, because I think how I see my life journey to be fantastic. I think being her in that state, I would not have been so free to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah,
So
and date all the other girls that you've dated after that as well.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
proved out to be lucky for
know.
them.
So many girls got lucky after that, right?
That is a story that we can discuss
In some
for
other
this.
podcast,
Yes,
not on this
yes,
one for sure.
yes.
So help me understand, Prateek, during that phase, what was one of those saddest comment that you heard that left a scar on you?
I think that was the comment on the mail, that anybody would leave you in this state. I think that will always stay with me, because I think at that point, how you are intellectually, how your mind is, how your spirit, it does not matter. Your people's perception does not move beyond your physicality, and they become invalid as soon as they are using a wheelchair. So you are invalid if you're using a wheelchair. My perception or the other person's perception of you will not move beyond it. And that is, I think, a comment that will always stay with me, and it really drives me too.
Whether you're in a car or you're not on a wheelchair, it drives you.
Yeah, it really drives me.
Yeah, yeah. So as I was listening to that, your friends were there. So all said and done, friends will remain friends, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I remember during a last conversation, you mentioned that most of the life is about a fight within and not a fight outside.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and why do you say so?
So, if you see my life journey, as I said, it was the best life. I was living the life of 20s, and then one incident, and then there's this another life that is without now. No, you are physically you're gone, socially you're gone, mentally you're gone. So you're not left with anything but just with yourself. So at that point, I think if there was anything, the only way I could go out to the world and make a difference and be a part of the world was when I win this inner battle inside me, that I think I'm still a valid, a good human being who matters and who can make a difference to people's lives. I'm still that person. And I think also, I think if you look at the deeper level, Gauravji, why do people do meditation these days? Why do they go for yoga? Why do they go for art of living? या फिर क्यों सदगुरु के सुनते हैं? Basically, what are we trying to do? We are trying to declutter our thought process to reach to our core and find who we are and stick to those 3 4 points. Right? That's the end result of all of that we are doing. Right? So that is the conscience that we are building inside us. We are trying to be aware more of our conscience so that we can handle everything outside. Because what is it outside? It is everything. It is a response system of our conscience to the situations outside, isn't it? So at that point in my life, when there was nothing, I was only left with myself. And I think at that point I had to make sure that I do physically well, because that confidence I carried on to my mental strength, and that mental strength I carried on to my other things like getting back to friends, or later starting RampMyCity, or just feeling normal part of society, disabled part of society. I think that journey that came from within me gave me the strength to fight everything outside, because I really found out the core of me, of who I was and what I am made for.
Yeah, as I'm just listening to you, it reminds me of one of the talks that I was listening from Deepak Chopra and Rupert, where they spoke about consciousness and the nature of consciousness, where they spoke that every experience that we go through emerges from our consciousness.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the question is, it's not what's outside, the glass that I've been holding on, it's
Yeah.
emerging from my consciousness.
Yes.
The
Yes.
situation that I'm facing, it's emerging from my consciousness. And if I'm actually stuck and totally cluttered in my own thought process, I will not have the clarity, and thus I'll not be able to see things as they are.
I would rather I would like to share an experience here. So this was I think in the first 2 3 years of my after my injury, where exercises and recovery was my basic goal, that I have to just exercise for 8 to 10 hours. And I think during some of the days, because you have this body, I used to have bad days, and I used to some exercise that I was doing pretty well till yesterday. Today I'm not doing well, and when I used to have these bad days, I really lost control on my temper. I was in bad moods. I had mood swings, and that meant that just after that exercise session, I will be angry on my mom. I will not eat food. I will not talk to my friends. I will be very irritated, and that carried on for 10 days, and I spilled all to everything, because it was something inside me that had gone wrong in my head, and that spilled onto everything around me. And slowly I started realizing it, that these days, these phases are taking a lot of time, and they're actually deviating me from my goal. And what was my goal? My goal was to have a life which is fantastic, and this was hampering it. It was not letting me go there. So I decided to work on it, and then from 10 days I reduced those temper issues. एक दिन में नहीं हुआ सही, लेकिन that realization was very important. 10 दिन से उसको 7 दिन लेके आया, 7 to 5, 5 to 3, 2 to 1 and 1 to that single moment, because I realized कि अगर आज कुछ खराब हुआ है, इससे मैंने क्या सीखा है, इसको अभी गांठ बांध ली जो सीखा इससे, और इसको अभी भी छोड़ दिया, because कल जब आऊंगा, when I come here back tomorrow, I am going to give 200% to the same exercise that went wrong. I am going to do better at it, I am going to deliver at it, and I am going to carry that confidence to everything else that I am doing in life. So that from 10 days, it came down to only that moment. And fight is not outside, because I spoiled everything outside, because whatever was going in my head of how I took that one bad day as.
The
So
fight is within.
sorted it
Now I
out.
can connect.
When I sorted it out inside my head, everything around became good. Like everything around became rosy around me.
Now I can connect with when you're saying that life is all about the fight within and not the fight outside. I can connect and get a better clarity of what you're talking about. So thank you so much. And in this complete journey, Prateek, what was the role of your parents that held you, assisted you, ushered you to walk this path?
I think my parents have been the most supporting humans that I've had in my life, because um, their elder son had this injury, and he was first few years of his life he was fighting to be on his feet physically, and then after that he started the startup, and for everything else, I think my dad and mom have always given me the time. They have not put any constraints on me that you are supposed to be doing this or you're supposed to be doing that. I think they have always aligned with my vision and how I see it, and I think that has, without asking me questions in return, without asking what I wanted to do. And I think that has been the best support. All things are connected, and that is why me losing temper on my mom, on my dad, I didn't like it, because you don't get support like this easily. You do not, because I have heard stories of people around me. You do not get support like this easily. So I should rather be always feel very blessed about it, that I have parents who have not questioned anything, rather believed in their son's vision and his dreams.
Beautiful. Please convey my regards to them. I mean, I can say with surety, they are blessed with having you as their son. And I'm sure even you are blessed to have them as your parents. So let me just take a pause here, Prateek, and throw a question at our audience. The question to my audience is this: had you been at Prateek's place, how you would have handled this situation, this physical challenge? Another question for them is, had you been there at place of Prateek's parents, how you would have handled somebody that you really care for, somebody uh, that you have loved for so many years, and he's going through or she's going through something similar. So it's something to ponder on. I don't know the answers to both the questions. I'm sure that I might not be able to handle had I been at your place for sure.
One comment, Gaurav, I think you asked about my girlfriend and why she left. I think the same question that you asked the audience, I asked to myself, that had she got the injury, what would have been my response to it? And because I do not have a clear answer to it, that is why I have never played the blame game. It is
Yeah.
very easy to blame people, but you should put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing this element, because this talks about a lot of vulnerability and authenticity, and also something that you mentioned about your parents. It reminded me that I read somewhere, you don't bite the hand who's assisting you and supporting you in your journey. So with this, and you spoke about your startup, which is RampMyCity. I'm looking forward to talk about that. But before that, let me just invite you to rapid question answer round that we have.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw 10 questions at you.
Okay.
Without thinking much, you just have to answer. I can ask you any stupid question.
Okay.
Right? So
Okay.
without thinking, just shoot, right? So
I'll try my best.
thank you. So Prateek, here we go. An unfulfilled dream yet.
I want to go to NeuroFit 360 degrees physiotherapy center in the US, Miami. I want to go there and spend 2 years as a part of my recovery.
A favorite holiday destination.
That's an interesting one. I always wanted to do, there's this igloo resort, Arctic resort, and in Greenland. I really want to go and stay in that resort.
Okay. Something that you can eat on daily basis.
रोज का खाना, मम्मी के हाथ का खाना, माँ
Super.
के हाथ का खाना.
Fantastic. As a teacher you had a crush on.
I, I hope she's not listening to this, but it was my French teacher, and I had a crush for her on her for 4 or 5 years in my school.
And did you communicate? Did you convey it to her?
No, no, no. It could have been a sin. So just internal pyar, andar se pyar.
Ah. So, pyar karna is sin, is it?
प्यार जताना किससे जता रहे हो that might be.
Ah, okay, got it. How many girlfriends have you dated till now?
So here we are giving the official number only, right? And officially तो नहीं बताना.
हाँ, सिर्फ only officially.
Officially, officially I think the number is around 6.
This is officially.
This is officially 6.
And then unofficially, we can add a couple of zeros
Like
here and
next
there.
podcast, we can take up the girls.
Fantastic. Something that you are most grateful for.
Most grateful for, I think it has to be my parents, as I spoke about. I'm most grateful to them.
A word that describes you.
Can I use, I think it will be spontaneous thinker and planned executor.
A word that describes life.
Fantastic.
One sentence that you would want to say to your ex-girlfriend.
I think, I hope after seeing my life journey and what I am achieving and what I will achieve, she will have a lot to say to me now.
The last one, your favorite song.
मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया,
बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाना कबूल था,
का शौक मनाना फिजूल था, बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया.
Fantastic. Thank you, Prateek. I'm literally getting goosebumps. In fact, this is my elder brother's favorite song. बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया. What a fantastic song. This only talks about the shukrana that you can have for the world, that for the life that you've been blessed with. Either you can choose to look at what's not working. You may want to choose to look at the injuries and the bruises that we are left with in our life, both in personal and professional lives, or we can choose to look at the sunshine every day, smile at the sunshine, look at the flowers, and choose to be happy and celebrate life as you said it. Thank you. Coming back to our story, your story. You spoke about your startup, but before that, let me just pull up one more thread that I think that I would like to grab. In one of the talks that you did, you mentioned that the society is divided based on someone's physicality.
Yes.
Tell me more about that. I got what you were saying, what you are saying from the instances that you have shared, that people stopped talking to you, there was only sympathy coming. Your girlfriend chose to say goodbye to you. Tell me more about that.
I think so. This is basically the basic crux of it is that we judge people so much based on their physical challenge. I think we forget our own challenges, and because we are on topic of girlfriends and dating, I would want to elaborate on this also to address this point. I have been single since 2015, and because my long-term girlfriend decided to leave me because of my physicality. And I think in 2018 onwards, I've been pretty active on dating apps. And I mean, come on, why not? I look okay. I talk well. I dress well. I am witty. I'm spontaneous. I am doing something meaningful in life. I respect other person's individuality, and I think I give the space that you want. So if you look at it, I am actually ticking a lot of boxes. But whenever I go out to meet people from the dating world or even otherwise, I get to hear a lot of things about me because I make use of a wheelchair. Things like, how can I even go out with him? What will people think of me? He can't even go dancing. He must have been a sinner. Paap kiye honge isne kuch. How will he even perform in bed?
Really?
Yes.
I mean, people have asked you this question?
Yes, absolutely. That is one of the most popular questions that is asked to me.
Wow. So what's the most popular question, Prateek, people have asked you? The nation wants to know.
How do you perform in bed?
As I'm just listening to Prateek, I personally believe that most of us, if not all, are on wheelchair psychologically and emotionally. Most of us, and I'll not be wrong in saying that. I'm very mindful of the statement I'm making, but I think most of us are on wheelchair when it comes to dealing with emotional issues or dealing with our psychological issues.
Absolutely. I think bang on. I think because most of us are dealing with our own challenges, aren't we? There are people who are facing financial issues, who have a money crunch, they spend more, earn less. Then I should not go out with them. They might not end up paying their part of the bill. There are people who are not doing professionally well. Somebody else is getting promotion or a higher raise. Then their life is very depressing. Should not have them as my friends. Then
Hmm.
there's somebody who are very emotionally challenged, where they lose temper at the top of a hat. They pick up a fight, then it is very easy for them to spoil my mood. And to talk about the greatest of those issues, the personal health issue, the mental health. And I think a lot of us are fighting that. So if you see, a lot of people are facing challenges, and that is why we should get away from the mentality of only secluding people who are physically challenged, because we all are challenged, and
Hmm.
hence we all are equal.
Yeah. We all have challenges and yet we all are equal. So
Yes.
rather than separating people on physicalities, let's unite all of us
Yes.
based on the same river that we all are floating in, the similar challenges that we all are facing in our day to day lives. I remember, Prateek, in our initial conversation, one of our initial conversations, you mentioned that what was really important to you was your independence and your freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as somebody who was going through challenges both at the physical as well as emotional front, on both dimensions of life, personal as well as professional, what steps did you take to take charge, take control of your life, and bring back your independence, freedom for yourself?
So, Gaurav, I think the most important thing that I did in my life is, I think by the end of first year, is that I attach myself to a goal. And that goal, as I said earlier, was that my life should be fantastic. Now,
Hmm.
whatever that had to be done to make that life fantastic, I had to do it. And with that came the independence. In fact, all the chapters of my life are in the pursuit of making my life fantastic.
Hmm.
So when it came to wheelchair independence, I think when I started going out more, trying to be a part of the community, I needed my independence. I did not want to go out with a helper, so I started learning transfers from bed to wheelchair, wheelchair to bathroom, from wheelchair to cars. I started taking cabs on my own. I did not want to go out with a helper. I started when I booked a cab, Ola, Uber. I started. Training their drivers. I started training my friends. And I think a lot of training have gone in the world around. And the best thing about it is that I have never ever cribbed, cried, or complained about it, because I am very well aware that it is not that the world doesn't want to help you. It is just that they don't know how to go about it, and nobody has come and told them how to go about it. So why can't I be the person to do that? Because that will be so awesome, right? So
Hmm.
I became the person who taught them, trained them, hundreds and thousands of people around me with a smile on my face, always, not in the way telling them, oh, you don't know this, telling them, oh, this is how you can do it.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think just
Hmm.
that approach towards things really changed the way of how people look at you and how people think of you.
Hmm. So what I'm listening is you started working with drivers to train them how they can actually assist you in the transfers, whether it's from bed to the car or the cab to the restaurants that you must be visiting or any of the hotels that you must be visiting or any of the offices that you must be visiting. And you also started this Ramp My City.
Yes.
And I love it when you said that you did that without any crib or complaint or any cry. You did
Yes.
that with a smile on your face. And and also I loved it when you said that the first thing that you did was having a goal for yourself. You know, a few days back I was talking to somebody, and during the conversation she mentioned something so beautiful. She said that your purpose emerges from your deepest wounds. And I was very curious because that caught my attention, that how come your purpose emerges from your deepest wounds? And she said, the moment you start looking at your life, you'll realize that you have been bruised with several wounds.
Yeah.
And with every time when you're bruised with any of the wounds that you have, life is giving you a signal and it's actually directing you towards your higher purpose.
Yes.
And as I'm just listening to your story, it's making so much sense. So let's get back to the Ramp My City, the initiatives that you are doing with drivers, and also last time you mentioned about IBTB.
Yes.
So let's spend some next 5 minutes on this.
So when I started going out, I realized that I could not go out anywhere apart from the five-star hotels, and that was all obviously not pocket friendly. I wanted to go just visit a normal restaurant, a normal public place. But I saw that I could not go there because they had steps at the point of entry, making them inaccessible for wheelchair users.
Hmm.
At that point, because I'm a foodie, I wanted to go. There was this very famous starter prawn tempura that Farzi Cafe, the recently launched Farzi Cafe in 2018, had come up with, and I really wanted to have it. So I wrote to Mr. Zorabar Kalra, requesting him to make a ramp at his restaurant Farzi Cafe in Bangalore. He was very, very, very kind enough, and I still can't thank him enough. He made a ramp by himself because he really felt that yes, everybody should have the access. And that was the first ramp of RampMyCity, where that ramp was made and I could access it. And that is when the idea clicked me that why not make it larger, like I can approach various restaurants. And that is when I started approaching various restaurants, and within the first 6 months itself, a lot of around 10 to 12 restaurants in Bangalore got themselves ramp. And that was such a huge boost for me. But when I went there to use those ramps, I realized that those ramps, though people have taken the effort to make the ramp, they were still not perfect in design. And also, as a wheelchair user, apart from a perfect ramp, I need staff that is trained to help me with transfer assistance, to help me take over the ramp, to make sure the washroom, how we can make use of the washroom, because people are differently able, and how do they make use of the washroom. All these training need to go.
Hmm.
So in the second part of RampMyCity, what I started doing was I started giving ramping solutions, design solutions to all these restaurants, and then training them, enabling them to give an end-to-end service. Because I think I made them very empowered with my training sessions, because I told them that the staff, the teams, one good day, one good hour, and one good service could change somebody's life. Because this person who's a wheelchair user sitting at his home, rejected and feeling isolated, thinking where can he possibly go out, now not only feels one,
Hmm.
included in the society because of the efforts that the restaurant has made. Two, equal, because now he gets to spend quality time at a social place with his family and friends, just like anybody else, just like you, Gauravji, would do.
Hmm.
And number three, accepted. Accepted in a society which is divided on basis of somebody's physicality. This,
Hmm.
I thought, was the basis of bringing about a difference, and making an impact, because this is changing somebody's life for sure. That 1 hour of service to him.
I think this
And
is changing the society, not one
yes,
person's life. This is changing the outlook of society, because this, I think, this is what diversity and inclusion is all about, where you don't divide based on the physicality, you
yes,
include them because of the
yes.
differences that they're bringing in. This reminds me of this proverb: when somebody throws a brick at you, build a wall. Now, going forward, I'm going to use it: when somebody throws a brick at you, build a ramp.
Build a ramp. Absolutely. That's a fantastic line. So yeah, that was the RampMyCity, and then we spread across verticals because it got pretty popular in Bangalore, and I think within 2 years we have done 40 plus restaurants in Bangalore,
Wow.
which includes not only high-end restaurant, but they also include your South Indian restaurants, the Nagarjuna, Anjappa, Olive, all your Olive Six restaurants, for social, for the Big Brewski, Third Wave Coffee Roasters. So anything a wheelchair one user wants to go, the staff is trained, the ramp is safe. So please go out and live your life. And then we spread across verticals with going to schools, colleges, government buildings, bowling centers, sports academies. We did all this, and we have done our projects in 5 cities now. So RampMyCity
Wow.
has done 5 cities. So yes, that was the journey of RampMyCity.
And this is a for profit organization. It's not a non for profit organization, right?
Yes, so because we didn't feel the need, I never felt the need to pick up charity for this. Tell me something, Gaurav ji, आपके घर के सामने tomorrow there's a ditch या रोड खराब है या सीढ़ियां नहीं बनी हुई, अब क्या उसके लिए क्या क्राउड फंडिंग करने वाले हैं या किसी समाज सेवा के पास जाके बोलेंगे बनवा दो. Contractor, it is the responsibility of the contractor to make it right. There is no charity for it. Then आपका need to access तो हो गया contractor के पास, मेरा need to access हो गया charity.
Hmm.
Why is that outlook in the society? I need to change it. And for some people it might seem like, how are you going to fight this challenge? It is so exciting for me to bring this perspective in the society
Love
that
it.
accessibility is not charity, it is not a privilege, it is a basic human need which should come down from the owner's side or the building side. It is not an expense. And that is what my organization run on.
I think it's a basic right. Also, as I'm just listening to you, I think it's all about the stand that you have taken for yourself. What if we all can take one stand in our own lives? Something that you really stand for, a cause that you really care for. And I'm not talking about a social initiative. I'm talking about just take a stand for a cause that you really care for. So help me understand, what is the vision of RampMyCity and how are we progressing?
So RampMyCity, while doing RampMyCity, I realized that ramps are only the starting to a building. You need much more. I'll just pick a small example from a workplace. People go to workplaces. Most of the builders build a ramp. They might not be according to standard, but they build a ramp to get the government permission. But as soon as you enter your building, the first hurdle that a differently able person sees is a glass door. Now, according to the government standard, there should be a sensor-based or automatic glass door, but most of them don't have it. So a need for the glass door, then you went to go to your cubicle, the depth of your cubicle. Can I reach my charging point? Can I reach the pin board? Can I go, how's the elevator, access to the elevator? Can I go to the canteen? Can I get myself food? Can I use the washroom? Can I get myself a cup of coffee, water, move around in the office? And is my team considered towards me? Are the party plans, the team parties happening at a place where I can go? How's the role of my colleague towards me? What is the attitude? So I think all this needs a little change and a little professional approach to actually inculcate this into a company's culture. And that is what the second organization IBTB does. It's IBTB is the full form of I break the barrier. And
Wow.
and that is what we do. We provide professional end-to-end solutions to not only workplaces, to hotels needed, gated communities needed, events needed. So all these places that need education institutions needed. So we are providing those solutions through this, and our vision is to make India better at physical accessibility, and to make sure we manifest the famous vision of making an equal and Atmanirbhar India. And it should be Atmanirbhar for everybody, and I'm talking on the behalf of those 100 million population of disabled population of India who are living a life in lockdown, a lifetime lockdown.
Beautiful. And I hope it is not influenced by any political party. It's influenced only with your experience.
Nothing from political party, all by me.
Yeah. And I personally believe that experiences, they either make you or they break you. So they change you either for good or for bad. How has your experience changed you as an individual? How is the Prateek of today different from the Prateek of the past?
So I get asked this question a lot of times ki kya badla hai tere mein? And you should actually, the real answer of this, you should ask my friends who have been my friends from 10 years before and post, and they will tell you very honestly kuch nahi badla isme. And I think that is the point. The point is, पहले और बाद में सिर्फ ये डिफरेंस है कि जो भी मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है आफ्टर दैट, एंड when I nothing was with me, I think I chose to just stick to my core and my strengths. And what were my strengths? My strengths were living a life outside my comfort zone, and I'm very comfortable outside my comfort zone. I living that life, making the first move, being very confident of oneself, and sticking to my strengths of being spontaneous and being very planned executor. And I think those are the qualities that I have really stuck to. So not a lot of things that change in me, but probably the weaknesses that I had, I have fine-tuned them in a way which do not come in the way of making my life fantastic.
So what I'm listening is nothing much have changed. However, you still value the space that you were operating from. So whether it's being comfortable in the uncomfortable zone, and rather you are more comfortable in the uncomfortable zone. That's the first thing. Then second one is move, right? First move is important. Take proactive steps. So when you spoke about that, just because my friends were not talking to me does not really matter, then I took the initiative to reach out to them because that was my need. The
Yeah.
third one was focusing on your strengths and operating from there. And the last one is you mentioned about the execution.
And the most important one in all of this is always be a part of the solution. Be the solution. Don't be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution. Be the solution.
Fantastic. So with this, Prateek, here's the last question with a wonderful, exciting, challenging, inspiring life that you are living. And I'm sure Universe has a lot of beautiful gifts to offer to you as you walk this path. I'm sure a lot of laurels, a lot of good work coming your way, a lot of blessings coming your way, a lot of wishes are coming your way, apart from all the beautiful women that you want in your life. As of today, what do you know for sure with 100% surety and certainty?
Again, that I am going to manifest the goal I have envisioned for myself. I am manifesting it, and I am continue going to manifest it, because I think I'm living each moment fantastically, and I get the kick out of this moment to create the next fantastic moment. So live this moment in the most fantastic way and get the kick out of it to create the next fantastic moment for yourself.
Fantastic. So I wish you all the very best. And I wish you a fantastic life ahead as well, Prateek. Thank you so much for your time. It was, as always, very encouraging and very, very inspiring. Stay blessed, and I look forward to speak to you again soon.
Thank you, Gauravji, for having me. It was wonderful having you and wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you so much. And
Bye.
please do convey my regards to your parents.
Absolute. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.